Hey, I'm Whipped Cream, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am hanging out here in the studio with Caroline of Whipped Cream. I'm super excited to be talking to you. You have an incredible week already with the release of this new EP. Talk to me a little bit about leading up to a release. What does that look like for you usually?
It looks like a lot of planning with my team about how we're gonna roll out the music,
Yeah.
because my job is to make the music and the vision, and then we bring in a whole bunch of amazing people to help roll it out. That's not my forte.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have cool ideas on how we do it, but there's a lot of people that help out with this process.
I feel like nowadays with social media, it's a lot scarier to kind of roll out anything, whether it's a video or anything, just because there's so many other forms of promotion, different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident in that like social media space as it continues to evolve?
I'm rolling with it. You
Yeah.
know, I think um, to promote yourself, you have to stay in with the times, or you'll sink.
That is true.
So I'm learning a lot about it. Do I like it? No.
Yeah.
But
It's tough. It's a tough job.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot more to it than there once was with
Yeah.
being an artist.
Now with this EP, how did you really start that process for this EP? Did you come into a session knowing that you were working on an EP, or was this one of those that it just naturally happened for you?
Yeah, I'd say for all of the projects with Whipped Cream,
Mm-hmm.
they've all just kind of naturally became a project,
Yeah.
like in the middle of making the music, I guess. So yeah, there was no premeditated, I'm gonna call this, is this real? And
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that your sound is very eclectic. You're all over the genres in a sense. Like you know how to bring them into your world and make it sound like your world instead of just like jumping from thing to thing, right?
Yeah.
How did you learn to do that and make it just coalesce every single time?
I'm just me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just me, and this is like my IV to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow a rule book.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
just kind of swinging by the hip, and I really love what I do, and
Yeah.
it is it is my therapy. I see therapists, but there's nothing that makes me feel better than just making music.
Now, when it comes to this EP, the storyline behind it, like just the meaning behind this whole EP, how did that come about for you? Like, what was that writing process like?
Yeah, well, making the music was a lot of fun, to be honest. I mean, I was in my darkest days of my life,
Man.
but
That's usually the case, though.
yeah, but I can say those were the brightest days when I was able to make music.
Yeah.
I'm just so lucky I get to make music. If I didn't have that, I don't know, because
Yeah.
it was dark for me, for
Man.
sure. The process was a lot in my bedroom. I was living in Koreatown in Los Angeles. I started a lot of the ideas on a USB mic at the time, and then some of the ideas were made in Utah, and some of the ideas were just made on Vancouver Island where I live.
Yeah.
But all of them were just writings from my phone, like melodies from my phone, and things I wanted to say out loud. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a dark place when you're trying to create something, it's not easy to get out of that dark place to be able to do anything, right? Like, how were you able to kind of come out of that and be able to be creative and be able to do things to move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was able to find the gratitude in being present in the right now. So even though it felt like literally everything was burning around me, I just used my internal energy to feel all the good people. There are good people, and I am loved, and everything does happen for a reason, and certain things brought me closer to my family, and I found new people to connect with, and it was about letting go of my old life and being so grateful for the present moment, as it wasn't so fun.
Yeah.
But it really taught me to be really grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you're going through those emotions or those, you're going through these experiences and you give us this music that's kind of bright, that's like uplifting at the same time. I always love it when artists are able to tackle that. I come from the pop punk world, so that is basically what it is. Like it's like sad songs but in such a beat that makes you want to jump around and dance around.
Totally.
How did you figure out your process to do that with your music?
Um, well, simply because with my last project, I noticed some of the songs I wasn't able to play live, and I'm a
Mm,
DJ. I'm not going yet. I'm not going out there and performing
yeah,
like Billie Eilish, you know.
yeah.
So what am I to do? Do I make remixes of my own songs? And it's like at the end of the day, at this time, I
Hmm.
wanted it to be able to be on the dance floor as well.
Yeah.
And I wanted the beauty of the sadness to kind of feel good and hopeful. So that's kind of me. It was me pushing myself to, though, because
Hmm.
naturally I do like to gravitate to like almost no drums. Like I naturally like to make
Wow.
music like James Blake. And I've been to a James Blake DJ set, and they're
Yeah.
they're great. They're amazing. And who knows, like maybe one day, I'll come up with another project that is more of the music I really feel
Yeah.
is like what I
That
am.
you at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm doing right now is like I'm blending like hip hop elements with
Yeah.
electronic elements, and I cinematic music. It
Yeah.
doesn't really make sense. It's just like what's coming out at this time.
But it's kind of cool that you give us like it's like different eras or different states of your life whenever you're creating
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
material.
Yeah.
Is this something that is like, is it obvious when you're working on the music that this is the stage that you're in, or is it something that like once you start working on maybe the first track, that's when you realize, okay, this is the stage I'm in this
No,
time
it's
around?
very obvious. You could like I need help. Yeah, it's obvious. And I've done a lot of work on myself
Yeah.
throughout this process, and it's so funny like was my last project someone you can count on. Like I dressed in a suit. I was
Hmm.
playing that person that I wanted to count on in my relationship.
Yeah.
And I was like this masculine energy, and now I'm going into my feminine energy. Like I'm unwinding. I'm like, okay, I can breathe now. Like I have let go of the hurt, and like I'm
Hmm.
allowing the right people to come in, and like I'm really interested to see what this new music's going to be like, cuz like I'm actually like quite happy right
Yeah,
now.
that's amazing. That's like the
Like,
best feeling, just because like I said earlier, usually, the best songwriting happens when you're in the darkest times. And
mhm.
it's always great like when you're in the best times, and curious to see how that songwriting kind of evolves at the same time.
Yeah.
When it comes to this EP, there's two features, or there's a few features that you have on here.
Yes.
How important were these features, these voices, these artists to your project? And did you actively go after these certain ones, or did you have like a list of ones that you wanted to work with? Like,
Mhm.
what was that process like for you?
Yeah, for me, like one thing that I get super excited as a music producer,
Hmm.
more so than anything, I think, is finding untapped talent
Yeah.
and like producing them out. I just that is just something that I'm super passionate about.
Yeah.
So for me, all of the artists on this project, they're more talented than me, man. They're just so good. And I'm so privileged. I'm so honored to
Yeah.
have been able to work with these people and like engineer them. Like
Hmm.
everyone on this project, I recorded myself.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm really proud of that too, as just like my own, using my own sauce. But yeah, that's one thing I'm really passionate about, and like one thing I want to do in the future is find new artists, produce them out, and like blow them up
Yeah.
a level. That's really what I'm passionate.
No, and that's the beauty with like electronic music too. Like for me, there's times when I go into these phases where like I want to discover a new female vocalist, or I want to discover a new male vocalist, and usually electronic artists are really great about doing that, like putting new artists, voices that we've never heard, into
Yeah,
their mixes, into their tracks,
yeah.
and then next thing they're leading the world. How do you discover these artists that you bring on board, especially for this EP?
Um, Most recently, the Instagram For You page.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
nice.
that's definitely most recently. Back in the day, it was definitely SoundCloud.
Yeah,
I found some really amazing people on SoundCloud in back in the day,
yeah.
but now it's really Instagram. Like, I guess I'm in the good
You're on the good
algorithm.
side of it, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm finding some great stuff.
That's cool.
And then my team helps me also.
Yeah,
They have a pretty outstanding ear to the ground on upcoming hip hop artists.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So you got these artists, and then did you already know what tracks you wanted to feature them in, or did you have them
Nope.
test out the
Nope.
different tracks that you wanted
Yeah, it's
features on?
crazy. Originally, one of the records that we're putting out, I'll leave it unnamed, but we originally had another artist cut it,
Mm,
and it didn't work out.
yeah,
So we went, and now we have another artist on that record, and it was meant to be.
yeah,
Like, for me, I never set anything in stone.
yeah.
Like, I could change my mind tomorrow, not in a way that would, a sporadic, chaotic way, but in a way that if I want.
What makes more sense for the music? I'm assuming. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. What makes most sense for the music
yeah,
and like for myself and like yeah, just my team's all they probably think it's funny because like yeah, I definitely could change my mind tomorrow about
yeah.
something.
I mean that's what the whole creative process is like. Like you're feeling one thing today, tomorrow it might be completely different, or you might
Yes,
need to add something or remove something from a track as well.
absolutely.
In saying that, during the process of creating these tracks and finalizing them, which track would you say that like challenged you the most to maybe kickstart it, maybe finalize it, maybe find like that melody to close it out? Like,
Probably Promises,
okay,
and it's not even a single.
why is that?
Um, that song was made like 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And there's just been a lot of different versions of it,
Yeah.
like completely different versions. And then there's other reasons that but it's one of my favorite songs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about songs that no matter how many versions they go through, you still believe in them, even if like you don't see it right from the very beginning? What calls you? Is it like the beat, the melody, the feeling that you get?
Yeah, it's funny with About You, with the Shoujo song. When I first made it, it was like 120 BPM. It was like a house song.
Yeah.
And we just like one day I was at an Airbnb and I just sped it up to 156.
Nice.
And I was like, shit,
Something
this is
different.
really tight. Yeah. And then I found like the happy medium of where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I was loving that track and I wanted to make it a single, but then I sat with it and then I went back and forth between Promises and About You.
Hmm.
And just with what was going on with music, I ended up going with About You, but I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna put it out as a single. So I think again it's just yeah, like what are you feeling that day
Yeah.
for me? Yeah.
Did you find yourself in a certain BPM every time you create music, or do you
No.
try and bounce around?
Yeah, it's all over the
Is there
place.
a sweet spot at all for you?
Um, yes, there is right now,
Hmm.
but none of that BPM is on this project.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. It's crazy how much evolution happens. Like you release
Oh
something
my
and you've
gosh.
already evolved to like something completely
Oh
different.
my, have I ever? Just get ready. Have I? That's an understatement for me right now.
Yeah, that
It's
should be.
insane. I'm not trying to hype up what's coming.
No, but still, that's crazy. That's
Thanks.
crazy. Vocally though, you're also on. That's your vocals on these tracks as well.
Yeah.
How did you learn to sing the way that you do, and how do you do it yourself since you're creating this all yourself?
Yeah, so I owe that all to my friend Zach.
Mhm.
This I just started singing a little over 2 years ago, and the first
Wow.
song I sang was Angels, and we put it out like 2 months later.
Wow.
So shout out to Monster Cat for like being like, "This is sick." I had no idea I could sing.
Yeah.
I literally, I, back in the day, I was signed to Atlantic Records,
Hmm.
their sister label, Big Beat,
Yeah.
and I remember the main owner of Atlantic. They asked me if I can sing, and I'm like, no, like that's not happening. I'm a producer.
That's so
Okay.
crazy. Things have changed.
Things have really changed. And yeah, Zach, I was in the studio with him. We do a lot of work together, and he always like heard me humming, and he's
Mm.
like, just go back there, girl. And he put me in the booth, and that was it. And I couldn't stop. I wanted to be on everything, and
Yeah.
now I've learned the sauce of what I can just record myself in Ableton.
Mm.
I can make a whole song by myself right here, right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you sound comfortable when you're singing. I mean, when I'm
Thank
listening
you.
to the
Now.
EP,
Yeah.
like there was a track that I feel like it was mainly falsetto the whole time. So to just start singing 2 years ago
Hmm.
to just nailing a whole track in falsetto, like
Yeah.
what was that like for you? Did you feel like that was comfortable for you, or did you feel like that was a challenge?
Uh About You was hard for me to sing for sure, like 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the other ones are kind of in the key I like, and
Hmm.
like it's really like a cool raspy. It's really, to be honest, I'm just gonna be honest, like, I can't sing very well,
Yeah.
but it's audio manipulation, and I'm really good at making my voice sound like my soul,
Hmm.
like how Ye does it or how Drake does it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not Mariah Carey,
Yeah.
but they're really good at
They're
using their
making it happen.
energy
Yeah.
to convey something, and that's what I'm good at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So the EP's out now. What are the plans for it? Maybe some tours, maybe some performances. Like, do you have anything lined up at the moment?
Yes, I'm going on tour. I'm so
Nice.
excited.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a very intimate and small tour. Like, we did not want to do big rooms at all. When I say we, it's me. I
Yeah.
want to do like small, very small rooms, very intimate experience. Give the people like this really rebuilt whipped cream
Mm.
experience from the ground up. Like, this is me rebuilding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this EP, I feel like just really opened a whole new door for you. I feel like it is you rediscovering yourself at the same time. So being able to go back to I guess the grassroots, going to smaller venues, I feel like that must be like, it's going to be even more impactful once you perform these
Yep.
live.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I want it to feel so good for everyone and an experience like they won't forget that night, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it's gonna be good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, to close us out with, during the whole process of Is This Real? Like, what did you learn about yourself that you didn't know prior?
Oh, wow. I think oh, I well, to close this out, I didn't really realize how good life could be.
Hmm.
That yeah, yeah.
Wow. That, I mean, that's
Sorry, I don't want to
that's
get
no, no,
emotional,
no.
but
You're
like if
good, but
anyone had any idea, I
that
am a
is the
strong
heavy
cookie.
truth. That is the heavy truth.
Yeah.
So thank you so much
Mhm.
for allowing me the opportunity to come into your space. You guys, be sure to check out the new EP. It's out now by Whipped Cream, and thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.